Oh, hello everyone. Welcome back to Talk Talk Live. I'm just turning on the power of my microphone and making sure that we are up on YouTube. Welcome, welcome to Talk Talk Live. We are back. We are Bizak. And tonight we are talking about, yes indeed, what is more important? Marriage or children? And sorry for 1 second. Sorry for my impropriety here. I should not be or children. There we go. All right. We are back, people, on Talk Talk Live. Thank you for joining me tonight. We are going and gone, and we are now live on YouTube. Thank you very much. And we're good. Yes, indeed. So, hello everyone. Welcome to Talk Talk Live. How are you? I am back and live, and Lord knows I need a drink after today's proceedings. You know what happened today? Today, I tell you, it was a case of me. Oh, wow. I poured a lot there. It was a case of me having to get to grips with this technology, and I was hungry. So what did I do? Well, you know what? I decided to get a bite to eat, and that bite to eat went into my preparation time, which is unprofessional, and I do apologize for that. But I am back, and I'm here, and I am live for you. So cheers to you. And we are back with Talk Talk Live, as you can see. Very barren environment for now, but we're going to get it done. We're going to get it done tonight. Thank you for joining me here on Talk Talk Live. What we're going to discuss tonight is what holds priority, marriage or children. And you know what? For this society that basically is, let me just turn this thing here a little bit. There you go. Oh, I got to sit a little to the center here. There we go. That's better. But you're got to come with me. Let me move the camera and sit down. And now that I am centered, we are ready to go. Okay. So basically, when I see the statistics, what's happening is in this day and age is this is the night where I'm just totally winging it right now. What I'm seeing at the moment is the fact that marriages are down, and yet not so much children. I think children are still on the way up. I think birth rates are still high. And I'm wondering if those children are being birthed into an environment, I'm sure they're birthed into an environment of love. I'm sure they're birthed into an environment of family, some sort of family. But the one thing that confounds me is if it's in an environment of marriage. Before, you wouldn't step foot outside of your house without being married and having children. But nowadays, marriage is seen as secondary. So I just want to hear from you as to what's more important, children or marriage. Now, again, when speaking to modern Gen Xers and speaking to millennials, marriage is not held to a great priority. In fact, let's do this. Let's go here. Let's take a random view. We're going to go ad lib here. We're going to take a random view. Let's go browser. And we are back. Yes, indeed. Talk Talk Live. Here we are. And what I want to do is I want to, yes. What I want to do is on Talk Talk Live. We are live here on YouTube, so you can access us here on Talk Talk Live. Again, we're building it as we fly it, as we go along here. And what I want to do here is, there we go. And I'm trying to, oh, you know what? Let's go to the browser right here. Right here. Quick and simple. And what I want to do is I want to click in, let's go to, let's do that. Marriage. No, actually. Let's go here on a browser. Yes, indeed. Marriage or children? What is the priority? Yes, indeed. Again, you can see me live here on Talk Talk Live. What is the priority? And you can see me type that in there, even though my typing skills are not exactly up to par, but we're doing it, we're building it as we fly it, and we're going for that. And here we go. We're going to do a random check. Let's go. What comes first, your spouse or your children? But let's, I don't want that one. Here we go. Putting, yes. Is there first priority in a marriage? Your marriage or your kids? Who should be your priority? Who comes first? Your spouse, your family, your kids? Why should your marriage take? Let me see. Who comes first? The kids or your marriage, or your marriage or your children is one a priority? Let me see. You know what? Let's do a different search then. Let's be adventurous here. Now, oh hello Trini Gal, how are you? We are here at Talk Talk Live. How are you? We are back and active, and what should come first? Let's try that. What should come first? Come first. Yes, indeed. Now, let's check that out and see. Thank you for joining me again on Talk to Talk Live. Who comes first, your spouse, your children? Who comes first, your spouse, your family, your kids? Let's go again. Your spouse before your kids. Who should come first in step family? You need to prioritize your marriage. Who comes first, your children or your husband? Why my children always come second to my marriage? Yes, okay. Let's go there. Let's go there. Let's see. Let me see this here. Let's change that search up one more time. And if not, we're going to just go with this subject matter right here. Sorry for the delay here, but we're going to change it up one more time. We're going to say, should you get married? Or have kids first? Yes, indeed. All right, let's go. Let's try that now. All right. Let me see. There we go. Now there's a bit of a different search we got here. Now, let me see. Here we go. If you decide, okay, cohabitate differs from married ones in 1 to 3 big ways. Okay. Cohabitating parents differ from married ones in 3 big ways. Okay. Here we go. Now this is something. Here we go. Let's discuss this one. Here we are. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live on YouTube. Again, we're still sponsored by Duntalk, DUNTALK.com. New fall line is out now. Let me see. Here we are. All right. Cohabitating parents differ from married ones in 3 big ways. Good point. Let's see here. Number 1, family stability is important for children's outcomes. All else equal, children raised in stable families are healthier, better educated, more likely to avoid poverty than those who experience transitions in family structure. That is definitely true. Kids in stable parent homes tend to be better educated, have better chances at work, and also a better shot at life, actually, because they make for a more stable family environment. Now, again, this does not rule out those who have kids already and their chances at survival. Anyone from any home can be a success. Let me say that. But your chances are increased, as it says here, in a more stable family, one that is married. Yes, children raised in stable families are healthier, better educated, and more likely to avoid poverty than those who experience transitions in family structure. So that's one. Second, if you can see this list on Talk Talk Live. I just randomly looked it up. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live here, live and on YouTube. And we've got our technology right. Yes, we've got our technology right. So, again, I appreciate that. We are live on Instagram, we are live on YouTube, and we're doing our thing. So, let's go to the second reason here. And this is one thing I wanted to discuss quickly. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Actually, let's do this way. Here we go. Ha ha ha. Always loves the touch screens. Here we go. Married parents are more likely to stay together than cohabitating ones. In fact, 2/3 of cohabitating parents split up before the child reaches the age of 12. As seen by these statistics here. Now, again, this does not mean your kids do not have a great shot at a great life. There are many, many successful people who are split up and who've made a tremendous success of themselves. Let me say that. But as statistics prove here, a Brookings study proves that says that cohabitating parents split up before the child reaches the age of 12. So compared to 1/4 of married parents. Okay, all right. So because there's no bond to it, it's not legal. Once you're legal and there's a bond formed, then there's a greater chance of being married. Now, again, recent words by, okay, let me see. The real question is now whether married parents are more likely to stay together, but why? Is it something that marriage per se, as Wilcox and DeRose suggested, or is it the factor that the factors leading couples to stay together also lead them to marry? This is not a semantic point. Understand cause and effect. Okay, so we can move through that here. Let me see. Difference 1, planning the baby. Oh, okay. It is generally better for children if their parents intended to have them and plan to have them than with their current partner. Usually, if you plan to have a child, the plan usually moves things forward. My parents, well, again, different age, of course, and this does not stop you from being a success, but my parents planned me. And I'm sure many parents planned you as well. And that allowed for greater success story, because again, with that plan comes a commitment, and with that commitment comes a greater chance of success. That marriage and your childhood life. I mean, I had a great life as a child. Not to say that those with single parents don't have a greater chance at that as well, but it's a greater chance. Let me say that, a greater chance. I've always had these disclaimers going on because, again, that legal training has got me so highly tuned to that. Anyways, they say here again, it's generally better for children if their parents intended to have them and plan to have them with their current partner. For one thing, parents are more likely to stay the course if they embark on it together deliberately. Unintended parenthood is associated with a higher risk of union dissolution. So yes, since you didn't have a commitment to love each other and stay together and raise a family, chances are it's a greater chance of it to break down. So that's what these statistics say here. And I mean, a statistic. This sort of assertion says here. Moving on, there are a number of reasons. Let me see here. Oh yes, yes indeed. Thank you for the Brookings update. We are good with that. Thank you. Okay, there are a number of reasons why an unintended pregnancy might be a prelude to a relationship breakdown. Yes, indeed. Following an unplanned birth, parents report greater conflict, lower levels of relationship happiness, and higher rates of depression compared to parents who following a birth or planned child. Now, again, in this culture where, indeed, well, we talked about in our last show, there's less sex being had with kids. However, that is not indeed the case. Thank you for joining me on Chocolate Talk Live. We are live here on IG and YouTube tonight. Yes, we have our technology together. We do. Hello, Troy. How are you tonight? Hope all is well. We are going through it here. So it's not. So again, we are deciding if marriage. What's the priority? Marriage or kids? For society, it's more so kids than marriage. But it's showing here, if you are live with me on YouTube, that indeed, let me just see if I can go back here. Yes, indeed. I think I can. Oh, here we go. Yes, indeed. Very good. I am back. Yes, I was just looking for the comments. Let me see. Parents with greater report greater conflict, lower levels of relationship unhappiness, and higher rates of depression compared to their parents following a birth of a planned child. So that is an issue. That is definitely an issue that needs to be addressed. And again, you can see the statistics here, which if you are live on YouTube, births to married mothers are less likely to be unintended. Are less likely to be unintended. So therefore, they were planned. Everything was planned. If you are in a marriage, you plan to have kids. If you're not in a marriage, you tend not to plan on having kids. And hey, Troy, how are you? I'm glad you're good, my friend. I'm glad you are good. Just having a stiff drink. It's been a long day. It's been a seriously long day. I was actually, you know what I was doing? I was actually watching Lead Attorney. Love him. He was talking about the Tasha K episode. That was something fun. Maybe I should do something on Tasha K. Just the lack of, oh my God, she just seemed to have lost the plot. Anyways, let me see. Where's Sam? Indeed, where is Sam? Good question, Troy. Sam has decided to take leave of the show. He's decided to seek pastures new, and again, we here at Talk Live wish him all the best in his future endeavors. It's as simple as that. We came to that conclusion, I believe, the last week and a half. So again, that is the reason why Sam is not here. But we move on. Talk Live still rolls on, and we say here, okay. Let's see. We say a baby coming. Yes. Coming a year early or planned is one thing. A baby being wanted or too many years too early or something or too late may be something else altogether. Compared to cohabitating mothers, wives report their birth as unintended, as much more likely to say that it was mistimed rather than unwanted, and if mistimed, to say that the mistiming was less by 2 years. So basically, this is the whole. I watch him too. Oh, okay, very good. I'm glad that you do. I'm glad that you do watch Sam, because again, he's doing good stuff. I just came off to come on here. So he's doing his Thursday nights. He's still doing his Thursday nights, which I'm glad. I'm happy for him. And again, he's doing more of more something that's attuned to his taste. But we are continuing with the facts and the figures of today's society and pop culture, and we will continue to do it right here. But again, we have left on good terms. Yeah, case in point, we are meeting up tomorrow night. So again, these things happen. These things happen. So again, we are moving on. A baby, let me see. A baby being wanted or too many years too early or something too late altogether. Compared to cohabitating mothers, wives report. Okay, so we did say that. But again, the stark differences in the manner in which planned or cohabitating couples become parents in the first place seems to likely to explain a good deal of the stability gap between them. Let me see. Drifting into parenthood does not set the stage for family stability, which is a problem. Leslie, how are you? And does not set the stage for family stability. In her book, The American Dream in Crisis, provides a rich descriptive portrait of these differences in the way in which many young Americans become parents, especially along class lines. So, if you... let me see. We don't know whether Darlene... Okay, planning matters. Unplanned births lead to unstable families. Planned births leads to more stable ones. Now, this does not mean that your child is not going to be a success. Let me say that. All sorts of parents may vary. All sorts of successes may vary. So again, let me say that. But this is the tendency. I'm just giving you tendencies here. So unplanned births lead to unstable families. Planned births lead to more stable ones. Of course, marriage still may still matter here. An unintended birth, even to the extent of being described as unwanted, may lead to less chance of derail the couple who have made a lifelong commitment to each other. So again, you have a commitment, greater chance of success. You don't have a commitment, greater chance of failure. So it's all about, because you have a contract. You have an obligation to stay together. There are repercussions for divorce. There are all these things together. So when all these things are aligned, greater chances of a family environment staying together, and also a greater chance, not a total chance, greater chance of success of the children. Okay, and Here's something, a difference. Most married parents have been to college. Most cohabiting parents have not. That's a bombshell. Let me say that again. Most married parents have been to college. Most cohabitating parents have not. There's a wide class gap in marriage in America. Marriage is more prevalent and more durable among better educated, higher income citizens. It should come as no surprise then to find an education gap between married and cohabitating parents. Oh, okay. Married mothers and fathers are 4 times more likely to hold a bachelor or advanced degree than cohabitating biological parents. That's a key one. If you're watching me on Talk Live, you can see this live. My goodness. Married mothers and fathers. Let me see if there's any comments on the YouTube stage here. No, we are good to go here. We are good to go. Fantastic. Yes, indeed. And it shows models of those. So, married parents with a bachelor's degree or higher tend to be higher. Those married, well, yeah, there you go. Married spouse and spouse present mothers and fathers tend to have more bachelor's degrees. Those with cohabitating or joint biological child, those tend to be more likely to be college educated parents. Mothers, fathers cohabitating non-joint biological children, and then you have no parent present. So again, the greater chance, and this is a tough one, a tough pill to swallow. Sorry. The greater chance your children, the greater chance of having children in a marriage environment, the more likely the parents are college educated. Now, here's the difference. And I didn't come from myself a family in which my father was educated. He was a laborer. He started his own business, and it flourished. So I'm one of those outliers myself. But again, my mother was college educated herself, and she helped my dad grow his business, and to a point where, yes, they became successes, and but they were married. Remember, this is at a time when marriages were way up, not so much now, and that is something we have to keep in mind, people, is that in this free sex culture, in this, I hate to say this, in this modern feminine environment, where women are left with choices as to how they would like their lives to be, then it is come to a point where now, it's come to a point where now we are feeling it to a point where women are making more choices. They're going to a later age in life in the workforce. They tend not to get married until later. And some do get married and they make a life with another and have that stable family, but a lot of them do not. A lot of them just want to have a kid. They just want to have a kid. And so they'll choose a donor of their choice and raise a child on their own. Now, does that make for stable families? In certain cases, yes. But there's a greater chance of you being married, having a stable environment, have your children thrive. So that's something to think about. Something to think about. Now, let me see. Yes, indeed. At the other end of it's compounded here. At the other end of the educational scale, most cohabitating biological parents have just a high school diploma compared to a minority or married parents. The gaps are wider among fathers than mothers. 2 in 3 fathers cohabitating with a mother of their biological child have less than a high school diploma. So, in these cohabitating areas, ladies, cheers to you. You tend to be the better educated of the two. Go figure. And then that is a rapidly expanding sum. Because, again, even though women tend to be more educated these days, their biological clocks are still the same. most women tend to want kids. And if it takes for them to raise them on their own, that's what they're doing these days. That's what they do with these days. And here's difference number 3, that a lot of people are finding out these days that married parents earn more. Given that married parents are better educated and older, it should come as no shock to learn that they are higher earners too. Mothers and fathers who are married earn substantially more than all other types of family structures, with cohabitating biological parents earning the least. Oh. Yeah. If you see it on Talk Live, we have it on screen right now. Doesn't make for great viewing. Nope. It does not make for great viewing. It seems that the, yes, indeed, with married and spouses present, father earns more than the mother, but they're earning more than $100,000 a year. Go figure. That's something we have to realize in this modern day and age. Especially this economy, especially with inflation involved. Ladies, gentlemen, ladies, we have to come to an agreement that we need each other now more than ever. We do. Not only do we need it for the economy, we need it for our children. We do. I myself have no kids. I choose not to have kids until I'm married. This is me. Take me as I am. I'd rather not bring another child into the world unless I can take care of it, unless I'm in a married environment. That's how my parents brought me into the world, and I wish to bestow that upon my children because I want them to have a greater chance of survival. Not to say that there isn't anyone that you shouldn't be able to do as you want. This is a free and democratic society. But I'm reading the statistics now. Your greatest chance of success, and I think most races understand this. I think all races understand this. Is that when you are in a married environment, there is a commitment, there is a contract, there are repercussions for a divorce. People make a better go of it, and success and the entrails of economic success prevail. With staggering success, indeed. Let me see here. While married fathers earn $55,000 a year, men living with their mother, mother with children, or children just earn over $29,000. In fact, married fathers can earn more on their own than the average cohabitating couple with a joint biological child between two parents. Let me read that again. Now I'm on my soapbox. Let me read that again. While married fathers earn $55,000 a year, this is American, men living with their mother or their children just earn over $29,000. In fact, married fathers can earn more than the average cohabitating couple with a joint biological child earns between both parents. The court system is filled with cohabitating parents who don't earn a lot. Now, not to say that there are those who do earn a lot, but I'm saying this is an issue. This is an issue that it's getting worse and worse as our society is becoming much more sexually liberal. Now, I'm not saying I'm conservative myself, but I know the ledge. But a lot of people don't, and they feel that there is no ledge. There is no meaning for a ledge. But the tried and tested is still true. Now, let me see. Higher family income predicts greater family stability, in part perhaps because of reduced financial stress. Indeed, yes. Economic factors are an important predictor of conflict for both married and cohabitating couples. Economic hardship was associated with more conflict among married and... Yes, indeed. So a final reason, married parents are more likely to stay together and they would have greater financial resources. Yes. All races marry to pool resources, to have children, to give them a better shot at life. But it seems that, now again, I could be a man crying wolf in this one, but it seems that in these sort of, we've fallen away from that to a certain extent. Now, I'm not conservative. My viewpoints tend to be not to be conservative in the least, but again, there are certain truths that ring true, and this is one of them. So, economic hardship was associated with more conflict among married and cohabitating parents. Was associated with more conflict among married and cohabitating parents. So, a final reason married parents are more likely to stay together, they maybe have greater financial resources. Yes, that's why people get married, to pool resources. It's always been that way. So, let's see. You can see this live on Talk to Talk Live. Let me see if there are any comments in YouTube tonight. Nope. Okay. Well, we're going to keep it going. We are going to keep it going. Promoting marriage will not necessarily promote stability, though even if such promotion is possible, indeed. Previous efforts at marriage promotion have largely been unsuccessful. But again, I think it has to be, they're talking about more of a practice, what we preach method. And again, let me see. Here we go. Stability, the end that matters. None of this to say that marriage doesn't matter, but simply those factors beyond marriage need to be taken into account when crafting appropriate interventions and such and such and such and such. But anyways, let's just get off that for a second now. Let's move away from that. So, we live in an environment in which, in this instance with that article, we say that married parents have greater chance of stability, greater economic success, greater chance for the children of being educated and having a better shot at life. All these advantages. Why do people prioritize children? Okay, so let's go the other side. Let's argue the other end. Should we try for a baby now and get married later? We just have a article here. Let's argue the other side. Because we have to, I mean, the great part to any argument is hearing both sides. So, funny enough how they have black hands there. A bit of signaling there, I see. Okay, well, anyways. Let me see. While some may feel uncomfortable postponing their wedding plans upwards to a year, others may may not be willing to derail the rest of their plans they had lined up for their post-nuptials. Okay, right. If you decide to try for a baby before marriage, you're hardly the first to do so. Here are some very happy endings from real people who have added. Okay, before getting hitched, I want to hear from those. Let me see. Let me go back here. Let me go back. Let's pick up this quite simply. Let's hear from the other side. Advantages of having kids before marriage. Let me see. Let's go there. And thank you for joining us to Talk Live. We are live here on IG and YouTube. Let me see. Until recently, such behavior was on social taboo is thought to increase the order. Aha. Here we go. So let's go there. Motherhood before marriage, the New World Order. Oh, this would be good. Motherhood before marriage. Okay. Let's decide on this one right here. This should be a good one. Let's get the modern female point of view. New World Order. Marriage can wait. Motherhood can't. Okay, let's go there. Okay. One of the major casualties of the global pandemic has been the wedding industry, as ever-changing restrictions apply. Okay. Right. So, interestingly enough, here's a good point. Oh, wow. Have you just done that out of the blue? Thank you very much for that. Let me see. We have to cancel our... Okay, right. Here are a few things private people never say. Okay, let me see. See, interesting enough. Here we go. Research says that finding that 73% of women thinking about or currently trying to have a baby value their family, friends, and community now more than they ever did pre-COVID. Of the same, group. 59% of those who are willing to try to conceive despite the pandemic and financial downturn. Okay, fair. Let me see. Okay, all right. Well, here's she says, my friends mid to late 20s are thinking long term that are in long term relationships are either trying to buy a first home, good point, trying for a baby, or thinking to have a baby sooner than expected. It's crazy how much everyone's priorities have changed post COVID. Well, there you go. Have changed post COVID. A number of women in the community are either pregnant or trying to get pregnant. Right. Okay. Oh, look at that, eh? Okay, fair enough. Yes, all right, there you go. So here's an advantage of having kids before marriage is the fact that they can budget for the bigger spending options in their lives, like buying a house or buying a car or knowing that their biological clock is ticking. I never thought I would be considering kids before marriage, but we canceled in 2020. Kids are in our 2-year plan, but I don't think we saved up enough money to do the big wedding my fiance wants until about 5 years down the track. So it may be budgetary. There's a good point. There's a very good point. We're just discovering why. Thank you for joining us in Talk Live. The other side. We're doing the other side of the coin, in which why people would have kids before marriage or cohabitating, and one of the reasons is budgetary. Indeed, we had this is especially during COVID times. We planned a wedding for 2020, but had to postpone to decide for a baby. I'm due in 2 weeks, and our wedding is planned for later this year. Okay, there you go. So it's budgetary. My partner and I got engaged in January 2020 after 9 years together with guns blazing. We were planning on our wedding in April 21, but then COVID hit and suddenly everything was uncertain. Growing up, women are especially sold on a very traditional timeline. The saying goes, first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes a baby. As society evolves, good point. However, the shattering of those traditions is becoming more commonplace. Living with your partner and sharing a home or bank accounts leaves many couples feeling like they are married already, without needing a piece of paper to make it official. Okay, well, there you go. Some people don't need it official. Some people, thank you for joining us to Talk Live again. We're on live on IG and YouTube. We have got our technology together. It's getting better from here. Although I did, I did enter in late today, so I do apologize for that. Again, a salad was waiting. I was hungry. I ate, and it delayed my entry. But we are looking forward to improve that day by day. Speaking next day. So again. As society evolves, however, the shattering of those traditions is becoming more commonplace. Living with your partner and sharing a home or bank accounts leaves many couples feeling like they're married already without needing a piece of paper to make it official. We said, with rising house prices and costs associated with raising small humans, many can't justify forking out for the wedding they want. Well, or a wedding period. Well, again, weddings don't need to be expensive. They don't. You can just walk down to a courthouse and get married. Cheap. Relatively cheap. Under $1,000. Easy. Under $500, easy. But it's the day, right? Certain people want the day. So they would rather go to an expense to let everybody know of their love, going deeper in debt, than it is to walk down to the courthouse and, make it official through an officiant. Well, there you go. So, with rising house prices and costs associated with raising small humans, many can't justify forking out for the way they want, while also making sure that they reproduce in the immovable timeline that is the female biological clock. But certain people aren't in. Here's the thing. The only problem is, in certain circumstances, weddings are unplanned. You've heard on YouTube many a time saying, "Oh, we are young and dumb." The whole young and dumb excuse. And that's happening more and more each day as the world is becoming more sexually liberal. Some people may be ostracized from that due to the reasons we put through on last week's show. On our last show, you may want to look into that. But it seems that it has not stopped many from making having the young and dumb ideal in order to get married. So, okay. Let me see. Got research from the Australian Institute of Family Studies say this from 1970 to 2000, the proportion of this Australian study, marrying fell steadily. Then it then stabilized for a decade before falling again. So again, a lot of people aren't believing in the institution of marriage. People think that having a common law relationship or cohabitating is enough. But again, legally, not so much. But again, laws are changing now so that common law is considered, in effect, marriage, and any sort of ill effects. There are precedents that, especially in divorce cases, that being in a common law divorce still allows you to receive child support, get settlements in and of the marriage, and whatnot. But again, it's not as official as being married in and of itself. But it's slowly changing, yes. So, let me see. Yes, for some, it's been dawning a realization as they've gotten older that it's not just as big a priority as the fairy tales fairy tales of childhood make it seem. I mean, we're living in the real world, people. We are, and quite simply, being so religious, which that's a story for another day, and also. And having these fairy tales, these dreams of being married and having the white picket fence and all these things, they're slowly dwindling as, economies move on, as times move on, as the real world changes and takes shape. Here's a good quote. I used to feel that marriage was an important step before making the commitment to have children, but now I think committing to marriage before children is a bigger deal. Okay. Now I think committing to marriage before children is a bigger deal. These days I don't think about looking for a husband. I think more about what kind of father you would be. Would you be? Because now I think I can find another man if I have to. For me, if I ever have children, they need to have a good father figure first and foremost over my If I ever have children, they need to have a good father figure first and foremost before over my own happiness in the relationship. Okay. Good point. And there's also a nonchalance. You can see this on Talk Live. Thank you for joining me here on YouTube and on IG. Just continuing the quote, there's almost a nonchalantness about the idea of being pressured of doing one before the other, you may ask. Where Gen Y, Gen Z, in other words, millennials and zennials, women think about their own futures. They have they have to grow up in a world where women can do whatever they want. Here it is. But where systematic ideas of gender and patriarchy are being dismantled, and where bucking tradition is the norm. Let me see. I would happily grow a family out of wedlock. I literally just had this conversation with my friend. I just don't feel a marriage is a priority of mine. So, women are changing their views. There it is. Women don't see marriage as being a priority in many different sectors and many different families. They don't see marriage as being a priority. They'd rather live with someone, have a better father figure than to have a husband. Literally, the only reason I would like to get married before babies is because I don't want to be able to drink at my wedding. Interesting. 4 of my mates are pregnant at the moment and none are married. There you go. Different families. This is a changing society as we speak. Women, especially women entering the workforce, they would much rather have the baby over the marriage. Much more rather do that. There's still society pressure, of course, as demonstrated by Madeleine, who shared, my grandmother lied and told all her gossipy friends that my partner and I secretly got married before we had our daughter because she cared so much about what people thought. And then we actually got married 4 years later, and that was a tough one for her to explain. So again, women are voting with their feet here again. As women become a greater part of the workforce, are women making more decisions on behalf of their family? Women are starting to change their views on marriage. And they much more rather have a, as I said, father figure over a husband. Which is interesting. Wow. So, as we say, cultural pressures often have a lot to answer for these scenarios, with Nicole explaining that she knew a woman who told her very religious mother she was happily pregnant to her long-term boyfriend, only to have her start crying in front of him. Well, there you go. Again, societal norms are breaking down. And a lot of these sort of ideals are starting, ideals of, marriage before children are starting to break down as well. And no more greater than in the African diaspora community. Well, I wouldn't say African diaspora, but the rest of the world. I think we lead the world in this sort of, break away from the institution of marriage. Yes, indeed. But thank you for joining us on Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Many of our children, many of our friends and family haven't. There's definitely a trend of not bothering anymore, but our relationship is so precious to us that we wanted to celebrate it through marriage. I think the ritual of marriage is like many things in life. If it's important to you, you prioritize it. So there's this choice. I think the ritual of marriage, yes. I also knew if we had kids first, we would always be prioritizing their needs and never get around to actually having our wedding. So, again, there's a good point. Once you have kids, they become the priority, not you and what you want. So it's what she's saying is better to get a marriage out of the way first, then concentrate on the kids than the other way around, if you so choose. If you so choose. But again, family is a reaffirmed priority for the majority in the face of our current uncertain future, which makes postponing a wedding just that little bit easier. So again, this is a changing world. Very good point. Let me get back to a full screen here. Very, very good point. Go back to full cam. Good. So it's a good point. And that is, in many society, in modern society, especially in the developed world, marriage is not so much of a priority. Being in a relationship, having a committed relationship, having children in that committed relationship, to some people are. But again, in traditional families, that's not so much the case. With different races and different cultures, that's frowned upon to not to have a kid outside of wedlock. But in our culture, Black culture, that's not the case. That is not the case. It seems that a priority is put on having children, being in a family, or just having children, period. I think women within the Black diaspora, especially in the developed world, just would rather have kids and leave parents out of it. Let government help raise, or let the family courts set out child support, and we go forward in with that marriage. I mean, the numbers of my family that are married with children are dwindling by a great rate. Although I do still have cousins who are in committed relationships and marriages, but a lot of that is falling by the wayside. And I can say that for very much a few great friends that they have decided to. I mean, if you're, I would say of a Gen X environment, I think marriage is so much more of a priority. But I think if you're a millennial or a zennial, those actions are changing. Now, the question remains: is it such that? I mean, what's the better school? Having kids before marriage, or having marriage before kids, and prioritizing one of the two? I'm a traditionalist myself. I'd much rather have a marriage than having kids. No doubt about that. I came from a tradition where my parents were married for 30, 35 years before they divorced. And yeah, I grew up with having my parents in the house while I grew up. And I would want to impart that on my kids. Now again, that doesn't stop anyone from having a committed relationship and being, but I think as you get older, that's the case. Now, as you get younger, that's not the case. I mean, it is such that, single parenthood is the norm these days. And people get on with their lives all the same these days. And I see it as problematic, but a lot of people don't. And to each their own. They really are to each their own. But again, as we saw through the statistics here, that again, parents who have prioritized marriage over the children than the other way around have a better chance of success, better financial stability, and their kids have a better shot at life. Not to say that the kids can't succeed themselves, who are in cohabitating relationships, but you know the deal. You know the deal. But again, I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you have to say about the issue. If you would rather have a cohabitating relationship, or if you would rather be in a marriage. And because again, I find this fascinating. I really, really find this fascinating. I think, can I say it? Yeah, I guess I could say it. I think I'll leave it there. I don't want to say anything out of turn. I really don't want to say anything out of turn because, yeah, I don't want to. As my man Jose Mourinho would say, if I speak, I'm in big trouble. So, because I have a lot of people, I have a lot of friends and family who are living as single parents, raising children, and it's their choice. And they have great kids, they're in great family environments, and their chances of success are great. Do I see that as, being, again, something that I'd adhere to? No. I'd much rather myself be involved in a committed relationship. Having a marriage. That's why again, with me, I haven't had kids myself. I don't plan on having children until I am married. It's as simple as that. It came from my parents, it came from myself. If you want to do something different, so be it. But I've laid out to you certain statistics that bear that fruit. And I believe them to be true. And that is, if you are in a marriage, again, let's go through them again. If you are in a marriage, we're going to go back to the browser. And again, I can see this as being true. If you are in a marriage, let's go back to that original article, because I think it rings true to me. And it rings true to so many of my colleagues and friends who are involved. And the thing about it is, and the thing that people aren't getting, people aren't understanding is once and the Godfather KS, God rest his soul, proved it out as well. Those who are married or on the track to marriage, upward mobility in the workforce or in their career is almost assured. In other words, if you are married, the greater the marriage, the more stable the marriage, or if you're married, period, the higher your chances of greater upward mobility in your career. It is a gateway to success, basically. Think about it that way. Rarely do I have, I'll say it straight out. Rarely do I have friends who are married who are in a bad economic state. I rarely see it. I rarely see it. Usually these people are either middle class or upper middle class or rich. That's not to say, again, that cohabitating parents can't raise rich kids, that single parents can't raise kids of a certain level of education and success. It's just a greater chance of it. Greater probability of it if you come from a stable home environment. I truly believe that. And that's why I have to get on the backs of my own people. I have to get on the backs of them. Because more often than not, they're in cohabitating, they're in unstable, they're in single parenthood, they are in, let's say, alternative circumstances and relationships. It's not to say it's a bad thing. Never said that it was a bad thing, but I'm just saying. It is such that it makes for unstable, potentially unstable. Let me preface this because I always got to have a disclaimer or some sort of conditional sort of statement here. It makes for potentially unstable environments. To those who have made their environment stable, kudos to you. Let me say that. But the greater, the more stable the relationship, the greater chances of its success, the greater chances of upward mobility, the greater chances of economic stability, and the greater chances of kids' success going forward. Most of the Fortune 500 company CEOs, most of them are married, guys. Most of them are married. Warren Buffett, married for years. Bill Gates, married for years. Most of these guys are married. They're still married. Some have divorced, but they were in stable relationships for a long time. Over 10 years, easy. Over 10 years. So I believe, yes, you can live your life. Yes, you can live your truth. Yes, you can do as you will. This is a free and democratic society. This is a developed country, and I would not, for the life of me, stop you from doing what you want to do. But let's make one thing clear. I haven't even signaled the article yet. There we go. Let me see. There we go. Oh, there we go. Here are the pros and cons of having a baby before marriage. Let's go there. Yeah, I didn't even see this. Yes, indeed. The pros and cons of having a baby. Let's see. Having a baby before marriage. Or having Planned Parenthood. Let me see. No, we do not want Neil Patrick Harris's 10 best Halloween family costumes. No. But thank you for joining me on Talk Live right here on IG and YouTube. Here's another thing. Of the people living in my neighborhood right now, one is widowed, but she was in a stable relationship for many, many years. But of all the neighbors who were on my street, they were all, I say all, let me just count them. Yes, all. All of them are in married environments. No. Maybe one or two outstanding. But most of those in my neighborhood are all married. If you knew where I lived, if you know where I live, then you'd understand. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. But anyways, let's just get through this and then we can end the night. Let me see. Yes. And these are all races, sexes, creeds, colors, whatever. But those who live in in these sort of enclaves tend to be in married situations. All my friends in this neighborhood that I live tend to be in married relationships with stable families and stable kids. Not to say there's no stability. Okay, you know the deal. Anyways, let's move on. Okay, so it seems that there are more unmarried parents than there used to be. That is because it is true. Those who choose to have a baby without getting married first will not have trouble finding others who are in a similar situation. Yes, sir. But even if you're okay, let me see. So let's see here. Con: there are many legal reasons to marry before having children. Yes. Okay. People who have babies when they are unmarried could face unpleasant legal issues, which is never fun. Anyone wishes to do this will need to do a bit of research, right? In short, those who are married usually do not have many legal loopholes to jump through. As couples who are not when it comes to couples who are not who come to having kids. Unwed parents might have issues when it comes to taxes and adoption. For tax purposes, marriage is key. Because usually what families in family court fight over is spousal support, and with that, having their children being dependents on their taxes. And there's always a battle between mother and father, especially if you're divorced, with regards to who gets the tax benefit for the kids. It happens so often. And it has to be said that that is not something that married people have to worry about and figure out. Because again, tax laws and adoption laws favor married parents over single parents. Single parents, cohabitating parents have much more loopholes and they have much more hurdles to overcome than married parents do. Why do you think? Here's a good question. Why do you think the two LGBTQ plus societies fought for marriage so much? Because they wanted tax advantages and adoption advantages that they could never get, and marriage advantages that they could never get in prior guises when their marriages weren't legal. So this is not something that works out for heterosexual marriages. This works out for all marriages. Every one of them. No matter what your alternative lifestyle, no matter what your sexual preference. Think about it. It's the truth. It's true. So, a pro, since it's becoming more normal, the pressure to get married isn't as strong. Well, that's true, as we explained, right? As I said, there's nothing wrong. Good question. Good point. There's nothing wrong with having children out of wedlock. I say that to all my friends. I say that to all my family. There's no shame in that. And there are definitely lots of people choosing that these days, as I've already explained. People are not as strict about this as they used to be. Society is becoming more liberal in this sense, as I've already explained. Especially when it comes as we move on through Gen Xers, Millennials, Zennials. People are much more accepting of single parent homes. Before it used to be a Scarlet Affair, Red Scarlet Affair, if you've ever read the book. The Scarlet Letter, there you go. It used to be a blight upon your humanity to be a single parent. Not anymore. Now it's the norm. It's pretty much par for the course these days. But there are repercussions to it, as I've said. As I said here, the con, it has a negative impact on the child. Kids who are born in this type of situation are more likely to deal with certain situations than married parents are. Especially if you're a single child of a single parent. In cases of some unwed parents, the child is only able to rely on one of their incomes, means that they are more at risk of having to deal with poverty than other kids are. Again, I repeat, in cases of some unwed parents, the children are only able to rely on one income. Usually there's someone not carrying their responsibility, which means that they are more at risk of having to deal with poverty than other kids. It's as simple as that. Wedded parents tend to be more successful economically than cohabitating or single parents. It's a fact. It's still a fact. It's still true to this day. Again, you can still have a happy life. Yes, of course. Being an unmarried couple, you can still have a happy life. Absolutely. If it works for you, who are we to judge? I won't judge you. Hell no, I wouldn't judge you. I'm just saying the ideas for success. I won't judge you. No. If you again choosing to live together or forego marriage can still live to a happy, long-lasting, and successful relationship. Yes. Again, alternative lifestyles, LGBTQ communities are still living in this way. You can still have happy, long-lasting relationships in unmarried relationships, which is definitely something which is changing, of course, because now said communities have the ability to be married in most states around the world. Indeed, most matriarchal states, patriarchal states, there's still a fight. Most of the developed world, let's say that. Anyways, and plenty of unmarried couples. Plenty of unmarried couples have a healthy family life. Absolutely, yes, indeed. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. Okay, but the con is it's hard to decide what the child's last name will be. This is a problem indeed. You ever hear of these hyphenated names? Like you don't know what to name the baby? Yeah, I mean, truth be told, I have a few of those in my family as well. You don't know, there's a hyphenated name. It's like one or the other and the other in one. There's no straight name, which is fine. If you guys can come to an agreement, all well and good. All well and good. While some unwed couples still have to do things this way, there are couples who like the idea of giving their kids a combination of both of their last names. Though they were married, a good example would be the Jolie Pitt family. Exactly. There you go. Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt. Now they're the Jolie Pitts. I know of one I know within my family, it's blank and blank. And thank you for joining me on Talk Live with your host E-Rock here on IG and YouTube. Salute to you for sticking around. Again, single parents would not be trapped. Oh, okay. There's a pro. Single parents would not be trapped in unhealthy marriages. Yes, indeed. Right. Absolutely. Again, you don't have that's the one good advantage of being in prioritizing kids over marriage is that you don't have to worry too much about divorce proceedings and child support and spousal support and palimony and alimony and these sort of things. You don't have all those legal ramifications. You can basically, pay out your child support. If there's any sort of, if one is a breadwinner and there is some support to going to one partner, it's paid out in a finite way, and people move on. It's much cleaner. It's a much cleaner way of doing things. Absolutely. But dating can be really hard for single parents. Go figure. Yes. That is the one thing. I didn't even bring that to my attention. That's a hard hitter. Single parent dating. Single parent dating is very difficult, especially for females. Males not so much, but females definitely so. I've seen it time and time again. I've had story upon story upon story of ladies who do not like the single life when they've had kids. They don't like it. They do not like it. In certain capacities, it does work, but for a lot of capacities, it doesn't. In most capacities, in most circumstances, it doesn't. Right? Those who date single parents might find it hard. May find a hard time if they get too close to that person's child because they can actually make a potential breakup harder. Yes, indeed. It's hard for the children. It's hard for the parent. It's hard for everyone involved. Because again, I was watching yesterday, was it now? Top 5, the Chris Rock film. And they were talking about, again, Chris Rock found himself, in love over time. Well, over a day, really, over 2 days. Well, over a day. It's a day. Over a day with a single parent, a single parent journalist played by Rosario Dawson, who is absolutely fantastic in the film. She is stunning. She is stunning. She made me fall in love with her all over again. Yes. And that was a problem. That was, man. But again, she was involved in a committed relationship before. She had to date person upon person upon person upon person. She vetted so many people as she had her child young as a teenager, and she had to vet person upon person because of the fact that she wasn't in a committed relationship when she had a child. That's a problem, and it's a problem to a lot of single females. To those who are lucky enough to find that special someone, kudos to you. But a lot, that is not the case. Especially as you get older. Kevin said it himself. Kevin Samuels, that is, R.I.P., said it himself. For all those women who are single parents, who are still demanding a high-value man, chances are you won't find them. 99% won't find them. They won't. Because you've already spent your biological tender on someone else. And you're already attuned to their circumstances and abilities. And that is a problem. Most men won't take on. I mean, as for me, it'll have to take someone special for me to take on a single mother. It really would. It would. It would. It would. I, for the most part, I'm not looking for a single mother myself. I know. For the most part. But if this special one comes along, we'll take it under advisement. Yes. But it's going to be tough. That would be a very tough thing. Indeed. But again, just finishing off things. Pro, it can help parents get better prepared in case they do get married. Yes, indeed. Being in a committed relationship does allow you to be better prepared for marriage because you've had to live together for a certain amount of time. That is, if you do live together. For the most part, that doesn't happen. Having a baby can put a strain on a couple's relationship. So if they see what is to like to have one before they get married, that will allow them to avoid being a potentially unsatisfactory marriage. Even if a child is not in the picture, living together is a great way for people to see what their life would be like if they were married. Again, this is a test run, right? If they don't like it, parting ways is all a lot easier because it's cleaner. But once you're committed and once you're together for a certain amount of time, it's like compound interest. You're going to get, things will build, especially economically, especially for your child's benefit over time. It's guaranteed. Pretty much. Unless you're one of those, anyways, malcontents who, don't put the child first and who are abusive and, the list goes on and on. But anyways, and again, the con is unmarried parents are more likely to split up than when the child is still young. There it is. When your child is still young, you tend to break up because you don't want lasting impressions left on that child. Or things just don't work out, or whatever reason. And that's a problem. As they say here, unwed couples are actually more likely to call it quits on their relationship before the children are 12 years old. I have had to live that. I've had to see that in my own family. And it is very distressing psychologically. Very distressing. It helps. It really shapes a child's outlook on life. And it hits close to home. And I feel that. I felt that. It really felt close to home. Especially for one person in particular in my family. Really did. It's quite troublesome. It affected his whole way of looking at things to a point where well, I wouldn't say nearly broke him psychologically, but it left a psychological dent. Let's say that. It left a real psychological dent. And yeah, I don't want to have my child being brought up in a world in which I leave a psychological dent. I will not do it. 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 If anybody knows me, I will not be the one to leave psychological dents in my kids. I will not leave to have children running around without a father, without parental parochial. Is it parochial or parochial? Yes. No, parochial is of the church. I would say, let me see. Without a male in the house. Let's say that. Yes, there are a lot of potential reasons why this could be true. There are some people who think that cohabitating is not a permanent thing as marriages, which makes it easier for them to exit a relationship like that one. But no matter what the cause is, children will always have a really tough time when parents decide to part ways with each other, as it is in divorce. True, but the fact of the matter is, if you never loved if it's seen that you've never been in a cohabitating, committed, married relationship before or gave it a try, it affects the child. And I've seen it all too well. I have. Not only for I've seen a lot of single parents in my life. I have. I've seen a lot of them. I've seen a lot of them. Again, thank you for joining us on Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Sundays, we go live to air. And again, I thank you for joining me here on Talk Live again. And yes, we are live at IG and YouTube. We've got our technology together, but this camera, I'm changing. Yes, indeed, I am changing that camera. There is a change that is coming. Yes, you camera, you. This one right here. Yeah, you're getting changed. Anyways, so I have a lot of single women in my single mothers in my life, and to some it's to some they've enjoy a pretty good life, but there are in most kids' lives there are certain psychological barriers that have to be overcome in one way, shape, or form. Does not mean that those children won't become successful, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, so in conclusion, it's 9:48. In conclusion, thank you for that Talk Live here. Thank you for that article. Let me just get back to my original screen right here. So in conclusion, what is best? Well, what is best is what is best for you. All I can show you are what the tendencies and what the statistics tell us, as I've outlaid to you today. And it's true as time is immemorial, especially the last 100 years. The more stable, the more married the couple, the greater chance, not to say that it is true, the greater chance for stability for the child, economic benefits, and success of the family, and the greater advantages towards children as they move forward in life. They get a leg up. So, what's more important, marriage or children? Marriage, well, depends on how you want to move things. Again, this is a modern environment. You do what you want to do, but chances are marriage is a better fit for most people who want to have kids. Much better fit. If something is planned, things don't break down. And if things don't break down, success rates go up. There it is. So, thank you for joining me on Talk Live on IG and YouTube. It's 9:50. I'm going to head back and get some work done. But again, I thank you for joining me today. I think it was a great show. I think it was a more enlightening show. I hope you got something from it. But again, this does not mean that you cannot live your life or do as you want to do. I'm just showing you tendencies. I'm just showing you trends. I'm just showing you routes to success. Not to say they're the only routes to success, but these are routes to success. Success of marriage and success of children. And more often than not, if you're in a committed relationship, if you are married, if things are legalized between two parties within that marriage, chances are the marriage is more stable and the kids are as well. But thank you for joining me on Talk Live on IG and YouTube. And we're going to end it here, but we'll be back Sunday night. Now, again, this time I am aiming to get on time. I have to do that. Tonight a salad got in the way, and I don't know what hit me, but again, it definitely slowed me down, and I do apologize for the delay, but I'll be better on Sunday as we get back to things. So I'm just going to lock up here and enjoy the rest of the evening, and enjoy my Arsenal win. My Arsenal boys won today. Fantastic work. Still in first place in all competition, which is fantastic. But and it's helping me soothe the ills of the rest of my sporting sport supporting life. Anyways, but again, I thank you for joining me, and we'll see you on Sunday night. And if you talk the talk, walk the walk.